Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and I have a guest from the upcoming horror film 13 Fanboy on the phone, Hayley Greenbauer. Hey Hayley, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Scotty. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So I did a little research and I did ask confirm with you. Your character in 13 Fanboy's name is Kelsie Voorhees, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, it is. That is me, Kelsie Voorhees.
Awesome. So the first question I have for you isn't related to 13 Fanboy, but it's how did you get your start into acting?
So I got my start into acting so my mom used to be a costumer at like our local theater, which is like a suburb between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Okay.
So she would be at the theater all the time doing costumes, and my dad would help out too and build sets and everything. So it was very much a family affair,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was 2 or 3, and I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to be in the next one,
Right.
So, and I jumped on the stage and wasn't really able to get pulled off since, if I'm being honest.
Nice.
And then, so I was doing local theater, and then I got picked up by an agent at one of the shows, or one of the plays I was in at age 6. And so it kind of started there, it's a lot of commercials and things of that nature.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of how I started into acting.
Awesome. So what was your audition like for 13 Fanboy?
The 13th Fanboy audition, it was, so the first one I was just auditioning for the Indiegogo campaign, like little, like films,
Right.
like little teaser kind of, and so I had a Skype audition actually with Deborah, just for that, and it was a couple days shoot in New Mexico, which was so fun. And so we just did the interview or audition through Skype, and then she said, it's just for this, but we'll see, of course, like you have the potential to be the lead, but
Right.
I guess the real audition was just the 3-day shooting the Indiegogo campaign.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got into it.
Awesome. So everybody, mostly everybody, I should say, knows has heard of 13 Fanboy. I mean, especially in the horror community, especially Friday the 13th fans. But for those that don't know what it is, can you tell the listeners what 13 Fanboy is about?
Oh, yeah. So 13 Fanboy is basically, I would say, kind of like a spin-off, in a way, kind of Friday the 13th. It's about a crazy stalker fan that is, in love with Jason so much that he goes after the original actors and actresses from the franchise, Friday the 13th, and tries to, improve their death or kill them, how they died in the movie, just some twisted individual that,
Right.
takes, people's fate into his own hands.
Right.
Is what it is. And it's, that's how I would kind of describe it. It's a suspense, thriller, slasher, all the great kills, and obviously a lot of wonderful alumni that was such a pleasure to shoot with. So
Right.
I think everybody, even people that aren't fan of Friday the 13th series, will love this movie.
Awesome.
It kind of hits lots of bases.
Yes, and those that haven't heard of 13 Fanboy, like the actors, I should say, that are in it from the Friday the 13th franchise include Debbie Sue Voorhees and Kane Hodder and C.J. Graham and Corey Feldman, Judy Aronson, Ron Sloan, and it also includes the likes of Dee Wallace, which is a huge name to be in that film as well. I mean, who hasn't heard of Dee Wallace?
Oh, I know. She is just a godsend. She's so wonderful to work with.
Right.
So it's great, kind of following her footsteps and, learning from her on set. It was just really a dream come true for me,
Awesome.
so.
So what about your role in the film? Can you tell the listeners what your role entailed?
Yeah, so my role is, so I am Deborah Voorhees. Deborah Voorhees is granddaughter.
Okay.
And so that's kind of like my character and like how I fit into the story plot. So I'm really good friends with Dee, from Deborah. And it's basically like I get thrown in the mix because Dee Wallace is obviously a target for the Fanboy. And, my character loves Dee Wallace, and she's basically my family, and so I'm kind of, being thrown into the chaos and trying to protect the people that I love, from a crazy serial killer.
Right. So obviously we don't want to spoil anything for anybody, and obviously because of NDA contracts you can't legally anyways, but so third, like the Fanboy, is he going to be like this mystery character that will be revealed kind of like a Scream situation?
I don't know. I just have to tune in and see what happens.
I can't wait. I'm really excited for this movie.
You know what? Yeah. Oh, good. I know. I'm very excited to see it too. I know it's been so fun shooting it. I can't wait to see it all come to life.
It's gonna be great. This movie magic. Movies usually film out of order and everything. We created our first movie, and it comes out in this fall. And the thing about movies that I love is when you make it, it's like, okay, this is what happens, and then the editing phase starts in post-production, and then it all blends in perfectly and amazingly, just like movie magic together. At the end, you see this final movie that everybody worked so hard to put together, and it's a masterpiece.
Oh, yeah, it's like putting all the pieces together.
Exactly, so I'm super excited.
Congratulations on your film.
Oh, thank you.
That's exciting.
Thank you, yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I spoke to Greg Gilbert from Python's Paradise. He interviewed you already, and I asked him if and he told me that I should reach out to you, and I'm like, yeah, I want to. And I know at the time we weren't friends on Facebook, and I reached out to Debbie Sue Voorhees and asked her if she would be able to get in contact with you for me, because I know when you message somebody and if they're not on your friends list, it goes into that other inbox, and not everybody sees those messages. So it's like,
I know, I feel bad because sometimes I'm like, oh, I didn't see this, and I try to respond to fans and whatnot, but I just found that secret inbox not that long ago, actually.
Yeah, that's how I was too. I'm in the tech industry, and I don't like the whole that secret inbox thing. It's like, I mean, I have people messaging me about different things, and it's like I can't see it because I don't know about it.
Right? Secret.
Exactly. So I did interview Dee Wallace, and she was lovely. So can you tell us what it was like working with her professionally on set?
Oh, it was such a joy working with Dee. Honestly, it was she just has this bright light about her. She's so kind to everybody, which is, of course you want to think that about everybody. Always.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I've heard bad stories of other people. You know what I mean? Just how everybody does in Hollywood, and you always wish that as good as you want it to be. You know what I mean? In kindness and everything. And she just exceeded all of my expectations.
Right.
She just spoke to everyone on set, with just so much respect, and just how she just, she was just so fun to watch, and we just got along really well.
Nice.
And I learned a lot from her, and it was great, being with someone with so much, so much movie experience. She's been in the industry for so long, so just being the opportunity to work with her on, because she was in New Mexico for 2 weeks, maybe a little bit over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so being able to work with someone like her was just, amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better co-star, honestly.
Right, and
it was a dream. I can't say enough good things about Dee. She's just so wonderful.
It's funny because when I interviewed her, I believe last year, and she was doing another movie. I forget what movie it was, but she was actually on set when we scheduled an interview, and then she got called on set, and she didn't want to postpone the interview because she thought that would have been unprofessional. But she was also had to be on set, so she made sure she was in hair and makeup when we were doing the interview. And when she was getting hair and makeup, she's like, I have about 20 minutes or so left. We could finish this. She gave me about a good 25, 30, maybe 35 minutes out of it, which is really nice.
Great.
Yeah. So how was Debbie Voorhees? What was that?
That she's a dream.
Yeah. So how was Debbie Voorhees as a director?
Oh, she was great. I got a little sneak preview, of course, when we shot the Indiegogo campaign.
Right.
And she's a great director to, perform for and everything, because she'll let you kind of take the character where you want it, or try, everything that you really, want to, and she'll give you her 2 cents, and, I just like her because you can do you can bring what you want to your character, what's important and everything like that. And some directors, they don't really give you the leeway, to even try out some things. But she was great. I don't have a bad thing to say about Deborah either. She was wonderful to work with. We really did get lucky. Deborah did make a really great team of everybody. You know what I mean? From like the cast and the crew. It was really, really fun. And it was, of course, some days were a little hard because I remember the fight scene and stuff like that. We had some outdoor shots, and it was really cold, because we're shooting in January in the mountains.
Yeah.
And I think we wrapped at like 3 in the morning.
Oof.
So, but when we have like such a tight knit crew, we all made it work, and we were still smiling and laughing at that last shot.
Yeah.
So it was just really, it was really wonderful. Like the whole entire experience was great, and the team was,
right.
I could not complain. Just
yeah.
The weather was a little chilly at times.
Well, I know when I seen Deborah's name plastered to this as a director and from her production company, I'm like, okay, this movie's is gonna like do amazing because she's an amazing person. I've interviewed her before 13 Fanboy and when she was promoting it, and she's been nothing but kind. Me and her actually developed a friendship. She gave me tips and advice to start my own production company before we started making our movie. We actually developed a friendship, and it's funny because I grew up watching her when I was younger. Like I watched her when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, believe it or not. And
I do. That's great.
Yeah, and just watching her, and then as I'm an adult now, just becoming friends with her, it's amazing. And when I seen that she was on this, I'm like, this film's gonna do amazing. It's gonna be a blockbuster. It's gonna be it's gonna be rated right there as Friday the 13th is.
I hope so. That is definitely the plan.
Right, that would be amazing if it does.
Yeah, Deborah is just a very, very easy person to love.
Yes.
She's just so it was great working with her.
Awesome. So, what was the best part about filming 13 Fanboy, and what was the worst?
Well, I would just say the worst was, dealing with, like, just the cold and being outside and, just all the different elements that could be going on. But, of course, that's, like, filming.
Right.
I remember we were filming a scene and there was construction going on, and so we were just kind of at the mercy of, some people trying to get their work done. We've got these crazy machinery and trucks like driving by, and like it was a very stressful day. I feel like it was hard to get the shots that we wanted with all the noise. Eventually, of course they and the crew was really great about it. They're like, sorry, we're gonna be quick and we'll pause this and then we'll try to move on down the street. But it was an hour, 2 hours of us trying to take shots between like construction noises because as you know, on a production, you can't make everything quiet everywhere, on set, especially if we're shooting on location somewhere. So I would say that was not really the worst part, but I mean, it was a difficult, task to go around, like, noises and staying warm during night shoots. But, I mean, I think that might just be because I'm a Cali girl, so I'm not used to it being in the 20s, So I'm more of like 65, 75, and like, good in that temperature range.
Right.
So it was an adjustment, but by the end of the month, because I was in New Mexico in January for the entire month, and so I feel like I was just walking around with the flannel. I didn't even have my like big coat on, so I felt pretty proud of myself. And I would say that the best part about shooting, I would say, is for me working with all of the alumni, of Friday the 13th, and of course Dee Wallace, working with everybody. That was my best part for sure.
Awesome.
Learning from everyone and just interacting with them, and we became a family.
That's
so
awesome.
That was probably the best part of shooting.
That's
just the
awesome.
people.
Yeah, and I can relate to the cold. And being from Northeast Pennsylvania, we actually just got snow about a week ago.
What?
Yeah, weather's been crazy this year, but I mean, yes, it's 2020 though. I think this year's kind of out there with realism.
Yeah, 2020, anything goes in 2020. Everyone just settle in. It's gonna be a year.
Yep. Usually, maybe mid-April is when we get the last snowstorm. I know 2 years ago we had about 2 feet of snow in about around April 15th or April 16th in that time frame. Yeah. Yeah, we're in Northeast Pennsylvania in the mountains, Schuylkill County. It can get pretty crazy weather, and it's funny because you get 2 feet of snow one day, and then the next day the snow's melting and it's like 80 degrees out.
That's wild. See, I mean, I'm used to that. Like, I've grown up in Texas, not used to snow by any means. Right. But I'm used to it's like cold and overcast. The next day, it's like 100. It's like, what is happening?
Yep. Exactly.
It's a wild ride.
Yes, it is. So, what was your most memorable moment while filming 13 Fanboy?
Most memorable moment. Okay. So the most memorable moment is when I accidentally punched one of the stunt coordinators. I guess he was an actor on set, because we were doing like this fight sequence, and I just actually made contact with his face, and I felt awful, and he just immediately got like a bloody lip. Because my character Kelsie, she's a cage fighter. Right. And so I just hit him with the hook, and he just instantly bled everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I would say that's the most memorable. I don't know if it's about a good memory, but everyone was just like, all right, nobody mess with Kelsie. Nobody mess with Kelsie.
So when you said your character is like a cage fighter, so did you have to take any type of training or anything to get to prep for that part of the role?
I did. I mean, I learned, so one of my friends in LA, he teaches MMA and jiu-jitsu and, other things like that. Okay. So I worked with him a couple of times, and then I worked with, I forgot the exact term, but I worked with another guy in Hollywood as well. Okay. And it was great. It was fun. And the guy that trained me last, he's this, really big, muscly guy. And it was funny because he was teaching me like different choker holds and stuff like that. Nice. And I would be able to, he would like tap out. And they're like, oh, are you okay? Like, I'm sorry. But it was fun because I learned lots of like moves and stuff that, you don't have to be this huge, strong person to take down a bigger opponent. Right. So I did learn lots of stuff like through a couple, we did like a couple privates. I didn't train for a whole year or anything, but I definitely got together with a couple different trainers and learned some moves here and there.
Okay, so awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So I don't know if you'll know the answer to this question or not. I haven't heard anything, that's why I'm going to ask it, and it'll help for anybody else that hasn't heard. It's like a 3-part type question, more of a 2-part question. But okay. So do you know of a potential release date and location for the film? And if so, when and where? But if not, how can the listening audience find out?
I know Deborah will be updating on her page. Okay. Of course, as it goes through, I know that they are obviously in the editing process. Right. We've already wrapped. We wrapped in February. Mm-hmm. And I know they are, I don't know exactly which distribution company that they're going with. Okay. But I believe as of now, they're trying to either be in October or November, just depending on the editing process, of course. Right. And don't hold me to that. I know that's like the end goal. Okay. But of course, as you know, like productions and editing, like things can come up. And of course, who knows with COVID? Yeah, exactly. And who knows, like, if. Kind of an uncertainty right now, like an uncertain world. Right. And I know Deborah is, for theaters, of course. Yeah. So it will be in theaters, fingers crossed. But of course, it just kind of depends. Like, are movie theaters going to be open? Right. Yeah. So I guess it's kind of uncertain right now. But I know that Deborah will be updating everyone on her Facebook and probably through the 13 Fanboy Instagram account as well. Or live video. She's really good about, keeping the fans updated. Right. Okay, and I know Pennsylvania is actually opening up, so I can give her a name of even some smaller theaters that she might want to reach out to that are just opening up, because we're having our premiere in. I think they go for that. I think they go through a distribution company. Okay. And then they'll put it in like their theaters and stuff. But I'm not really sure. I'm kind of on I'm just in front of the camera. I don't know I don't know
Right.
all of the things that go on. It's kind of above my head, but I would love to learn. I'm sure Deborah will, give me some insight, but I don't know all of those answers.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I can even
But
reach
of
out to
course,
her.
I'll update things on my Instagram page as well. Like
Okay.
when I get confirmation from Deborah and releases and the official trailer and stuff, we'll
Right.
definitely be, advertising it on all of the social media for sure.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and COVID is such a nobody really knows much about it because we don't know if we're gonna get another surge when the flu season starts up. You don't know you just don't know what's gonna happen at this point. It's really a lot of unknowns. I mean, things could open up and then things can it can go back down again, and we don't know what's gonna happen. And fingers crossed that doesn't happen because we really don't need that. But I mean, I think that this movie's gonna do amazing. I know there's so many fans that are looking forward to it and are really looking forward to seeing where what this movie's about and to actually watch it. And I'm hoping it's gonna be in theaters because I love going to the movies to actually watch a movie that I really want to see. Because that's
something about it. It's an experience.
Exactly. It's that entertainment experience. I don't go to see every movie that comes out in theaters, but if there's a movie I want to see, whether it's for example Halloween or Friday the 13th or even 13 Fanboy, I want to go to the theaters and see it because there's something about that atmosphere, that environment.
100%.
Yes.
Couldn't agree with you more on that.
Right.
So that's the goal.
Okay.
And I think that is easily, accomplished with this film for sure.
Right.
It's just, a matter of COVID and all the other moving parts that I'm not really quite sure about.
Right. And also, if fans want to know any updates as well, I'm sure Debbie will update the IMDb page as well. The Deborah Voorhees Sheer Horror Group, I believe it's called, on Facebook. She'll also be doing updates on there as well. And also, before I ask the last question, to let everybody know, the Indiegogo campaign, I believe, is still running. I don't know how long it's running till. If you want to donate, you can still probably get your name in the credits and get a signed DVD and all that. So look into that for 13 Fanboy. I just recently donated the other day. Student loans had me.
Great.
Student loans had me not able to donate sooner, so I finally was able to do it. Even though everything is all done, I was still glad that I could help out, and I'm hoping if anybody else had any type of financial issues or whatever, and then they can go to the Indiegogo campaign and help out as much as they can as well. That'd be cool. I mean,
oh yeah, we would definitely appreciate it. We of course, we want all the fans to be a part of the film.
Right.
It's just there's something to be said about being able to be a part.
Yes,
it's not a Friday the 13th, but it is. There's so many great alumni from the series, and
right.
It's just a way for fans to get involved and be a part of this new chapter.
Exactly. So the last question I got for you: do you have any future projects in the works outside of 13 Fanboy to tell the viewers? And also, do you have any social media accounts to plug for your fans to keep updated on your projects?
Oh yeah. So I have an Instagram account. It's Hayley Greenbauer, just Hayley, and then Greenbauer, GREEN,
Okay.
And my Facebook as well. My middle name is on my Facebook. My middle name is Reese.
Okay.
So you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. And so right now, future projects, everything has been kind of on hold with COVID.
Right.
So, I mean, there's, self-tape auditions, going around, but it's just kind of, it's the uncertainty world right now. So as of right now, there's no, major things coming down the pipeline at the moment. But that's not to say that won't change,
Right. Yes, and you have an IMDb page, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Yes, so if you want to go find out also outside of this interview, if you want to see what Hayley's going to be in, you can check the IMDb page that she has up, and I'm sure anything that is coming in the future after the whole COVID nonsense breaks down, then her IMDb page will be updated, and you can see what other projects she will be a part of.
Yes, that would be great. You can also find me through the 13 Fanboy IMDb.
Awesome.
The whole cast is on there, so that might be the easy way to find me.
That is awesome. That is also true. So I thank you so much, Hayley, for taking the time out of your schedule to do this interview.
Of course, Scotty. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and you stay safe.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay safe too.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.